Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Active Self-Protection Extra here today again at C2 Tactical in Scottsdale with our getting to be, secondary resident expert Destiny here. Get a kick butt, get out on the range a lot, getting some classes down. She's a good shooter. Today, I want to talk to you about this. It's kind of a myth and kind of not, okay? It's kind of not as accurate as some people think that the only shot that matters is your first shots of the day because that's what you'll have in a defensive encounter. I think it's a myth, and then we're going to test it a little bit.
The Black Arch Protoss holster is the only hybrid-like holster that I can recommend. It does everything that a holster needs to do and is great for strong side carry. They're part of our holster consortium. Go check them out at the link in the description.
Now, I think this myth comes from the fact that, you don't get do-overs in a gunfight, right? Like, however you performed, you performed. Like, if you fumble your draw in a gunfight, got to fight through it, right? You miss, you don't get to go, whoa, hold on, let's take take two and, shooter ready, hold on, go back, Mr. Bad Guy. So a lot of people are like, no, only the first rep counts, and so only your cold shots matter in a gunfight. A couple things about that. Remember, we all have a range, right? So one person, if you're a beginning shooter, maybe your range is as low as down here and your high is up here. And if you're a really advanced shooter, maybe your low is way up here and your high is a little higher up here, right? Now, the one thing I notice is the more that you practice, kind of the less spread you have in your best to your worst, okay? But I've noticed when I come to the range, my first shots of the day can be anywhere in that range, right? So some people are like, well, you're always going to get better over the course of your training day. Not really. You might get worse. You ever have that? Like, I've had my first shots be money and fast and accurate and good, and then the wheels fall off a little later. You know what I mean? And so my first shots were way up here, and then, it kind of comes around here. And so that counts, but it's still going to be somewhere inside my abilities, right? Sometimes you're first or your best of the day. Sometimes they're the worst of the day. But I don't think they're always the worst and you're always getting better. Secondarily, I think that people are like, well, you're always going to be, your cold shots are what matter because you're always going to be cold in a gunfight. I think that's wrong. Because, of course, if you're smart, then when you put your gun on for the day, you do just a couple of draws, maybe a little bit of dry practice, right? Now, I get it for a lot of people. You're like, well, that means I got to unload my gun. That means I got a lot of administrative gun handling. I don't necessarily love to do that. I totally get that, and I think that's smart. I think there's one of the reasons to have a really good safe backstop in your dry fire dojo is that for some people, they go, I don't want to unload my gun, so I do draws without firing, right? I just draw into my safe location, which you could do. Don't press the trigger, for goodness sakes. Or even smarter, unload the gun. Go ahead and unload it, right? And make sure it's unloaded and all that stuff, and then a couple of presses so that you're ready to go. And so I'm just going to have Destiny stand up, and we're both going to just warm up a little bit like we should have this morning when we got our guns on. Now, we don't always guarantee. I don't know. I haven't asked Destiny if she did that this morning when she put her gun on. I can tell you I did, okay? I got up this morning. When I got dressed, I went and worked out this morning and then got showered and dressed to my dry fire dojo, a couple of draws, just so that I know, all right, my dot is on, my trigger is working, the gun is functioning good, loaded up, rock and roll. And so, am I cold? Well, I haven't fired a live round, but I've gotten several looks at how things go and how those hands feel. So let's step up to the 7-yard line, work on a little bit of dry practice here, and then we'll put a couple of shots on the clock just to see how it kind of feels. All right, madam, you ready to step up here? So I know you put a magazine in your gun with some ball ammo in it, right? So why don't we go ahead and take that out, and then go ahead and safely.
Do you have one chamber?
Okay, so I'm going to put my ears on because I'm that kind of trusting soul. And then go ahead and draw and unload and show clear. Out she comes. Very good. And clear, you're an adult. Cool, put the gun away, okay? And then I will show you mine. Okay, doink, doink. What do you see?
Clear.
I see a clear gun. Cool. So now this is my usual kind of warm-up routine, right? So I kind of tend in the morning, again, as I put my gun on, whatever. Now, for everybody, okay, I'm that nerd because I shoot so much. So this is my training gun, right? So I have a training gun and a carry gun because I shoot too much. And you don't have that, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and most people shouldn't. Okay, unless you're shooting over maybe 10 or 15,000 rounds a year, you shouldn't probably invest in that. All right, if you want to, there's nothing wrong with it, but like you don't got to spend that kind of money. At some point, I was putting 20,000 rounds a year downrange, and guns break eventually, and so I just got a training gun. Okay, so I use my training gun for this. Put my holster on, put my training gun in it, do my practice, press check my carry gun, and off I go. So all I want to do here is just kind of get that good morning, kind of draw the gun, see my sights, press my trigger, get a good feel for that. And I do a couple 3, 4, 5 in an A zone. I do a couple 3, 4, 5 in a head box, and then I do a couple 3, 4, 5 at a very small target. Make sense?
It makes sense.
Give that a try. Okay, that would have been a Charlie. Okay, low alpha. Alpha Charlie. I'm going pretty fast right now. Oh yeah, good high alpha there. Good. Okay, now we're gonna go head box shots for me. All right, we'll do up here because somebody on the extra is gonna complain about me cheating with the fig leaf. Yeah, and you see that I had a little bit of shirt there, but I fought through it. That would have been low. If I'm being honest, that would have been low. Oh, my piriformis is really screaming at me for my workout. I did squats this morning, and my body is like, hey, buddy, what are you doing standing on the concrete after the squats? The squats. I don't know why my body speaks German, but, in a German accent, but apparently it does. Okay, that was good. I verified there really well. Now, let's draw to a very, like a 2-inch target. I'm going to draw to a 2-inch circle here at 7 yards. Good. That would have been a hit. Would have likely been a high hit. Good. All right. So what did that take us? 3, 4 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I know somebody here is going to go, but John, that's cheating. Yeah. It's cheating. You know why it's cheating?
In what way?
Well, it's cheating in that, so now you're on the range, now you're going to load up, and now you're warmed up. That's life, man. So guess what? If I do that in the morning, and that's pretty much exactly what I did this morning, and I did it, we got here, we're filming relatively early in the day. I did it about an hour ago, okay? And guess what? Then I'm warm, and you do that every day, and you're warmed up. And I'm as warm as I'm going to get. Because I don't get to the range to shoot. I know there's some YouTubers, some influencers, they've got, some goofballs like Neil have a range in their backyard, and they can just step out there at any time they want and go shoot every day. It takes me a little bit more than that. So I might get to shoot once or twice a month is what the reality is for me, okay? Because I've got a busy life and a busy schedule and family and all that stuff. So I might get to shoot once or twice a month live fire. 3 times a month would be amazing. That'd be a great month for me, okay? Unless I'm going to a class or something like that. So this is how I stay proficient. So let's let Destiny load it up, and let's just see now what that looks like. Because again, is she cold? Yes, she has not fired any live fire today. But is she warm? Yeah, she's got her chance to get that her draw on and all that stuff. And so is she truly cold? Not really. And now we could just get some measurable metrics. Sound good? Ready?
It's good.
Step on up and let's do it.